The tube is a dinosaur. Costs about $8, $5, depending on where you're at and what your situation is. And it works. And it hasn't changed one bit. And now we have this little thing. Tubolito claims that this tube is 54% lighter, twice as strong, and 50% smaller than a traditional tube. The only issue is that it costs about $30 or $35. Compared to the traditional BMX tube, to the Tubolito, I mean, it is actually 50% smaller. I mean, even that, 70% smaller in my opinion. So carrying this in your bag obviously goes to the Tubolito. You know, it doesn't really have that elasticity that we're used to with normal tubes. I mean, rubber band status. And then this is like just a harder rubber. So it seems different. And I guess after 30 years of the tube being the same, that's gonna happen. I do have here a patch kit, so they are patchable, which is good. According to this, there's 5 in here, so as long as you don't have a blowout, this $35 tube can last for a long time. They could be better for the environment, I guess. It's a bit of a reach, but if you're spending $35 on something, you're gonna use a patch kit. Where I'm probably just gonna throw this away and just put in a fresh tube. I haven't used a patch kit in a long time. I have stacks of these. I throw them away. Maybe it's a bit of a mental shift where the value gets put on the tube and you take care of it. And as long as they don't blow out easy and the patch kit works, like that $35 could be well spent. Welcome to the puncture test. Another strong claim that Tubolito makes is that their tubes are 2 times more resistant to punctures. So in order to test that, I have this NASA certified nail in board on scale mechanism here, and I am going to do a very basic push down with the tube and see what sort of force I get out of it before the nail shoots through. Looks like it's about to go through. So I saw 7.1 pounds of pressure. 9, 16. I saw 10 and the scale aired out. 6. The scale maxes out. Maxed it out. I feel like this is the nerdiest thing I've ever done, but yeah, I mean, it didn't go through. I'm not saying that was scientific by any means whatsoever, but in this instance, with this test and this nail, the Tubolito was approximately 2 times or more resistant to this nail. So 4.8 ounces, 2.3 ounces. That doesn't sound like a lot. Why is this a big deal? And I am not a scientist, so I'm not going to pretend to be. But there is this thing called rotational inertia, rotational mass. And when you have a circle, you have a wheel spinning fast, the mass on the outside of the wheel tends to feel a lot heavier than the actual amount. The basic rule is if you shed a bunch of weight on the outside of your wheel, it makes a bigger difference in how your bike rides. Some say that's 4 times as much. Sometimes I read it was 2 times as much. I read it was 2.5%. There's way too much info, way too many conflicting answers. And I think that's mostly what this test is about, is finding if these dudes can feel a difference in the way their bike rides, if the tube actually ends up being strong, and if maybe there's something else that I can't even think of. Tubolito did give us these. They are working with us, I have to mention that, but the goal is to keep it fair. Parker and Maty don't have any investment in this. They're just down to rock the tubes and see how it goes. Time warp into the future.
This is why I haven't changed my tubes.
But only for the manliest of men do I give you the pink one.
Yeah, I just was surprised at how small they were, actually.
They're really tiny. It does look pretty cool. It looks like I'm gonna go do construction somewhere.
Just like a sexy setup. Like, what's up, girl? How you doing? Ready? Ready for that competitive edge tonight? Square peg in a round hole. It doesn't really fit. Maybe you're supposed to put it in. That's why it comes in the fancy little thing.
You gotta read the instructions, Parker. Blonde moment.
Well, shit, I've fucking changed so many tubes, I thought. All right, step one. Oh yeah, you are supposed to put it in flat. Right there, the picture says it.
This is Parker's first time ever changing a tube on his own.
Well, riding here, I'll probably run like 80 PSI.
Does it feel approximately 2.3 ounces lighter?
It really does.
You know, nobody looks good pumping up the tire.
I like to ride it more than I like to work on it, okay? Fuck.
What's your normal PSI?
Anywhere between 60 and probably like 75.
Dude.
Woo! Whoa! Can you feel anything?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I feel it.
Are you lying?
I'm not lying.
Yeah.
This is actually lower than I would usually choose to run. And I can tell pulling up, it feels like I'm riding like a rock hard PSI tire. It's pretty wild.
Weird.
Yeah. Let's see how Foo feels. I like it, it feels nice. I feel like I'm wearing like fancy high heels or something. My bike has like stilettos on or something. It feels fancy.
You don't feel it, huh?
I do. I gotta take a couple more runs. It'll get there.
Maddie says he feels it.
Feels a little bit like lighter, yeah. I feel like I'm just placeboing myself though, because I want it to feel lighter.
True. When you spend $30 on a tube, you want it to feel
You're like, yeah, it's for sure gonna feel lighter. Feels lighter for sure.
Does it?
Yeah. I think so.
I'm honestly surprised you guys are
Feels a little like shot, like loftier, I feel like. So yeah, lighter. I don't know, I'd like to try like a tail whip or like a 3 or something. Try some bar spin, see like how it feels with tricks.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, it goes a little faster.
Yeah.
And I mean, like 4 ounces isn't nothing.
It isn't nothing.
Like you switch your bars and you can feel 4 ounces. So
yeah.
That's a real thing.
4 ounces is an amount of weight you can feel.
Yeah.
For sure.
If the rotational weight thing makes a big difference because it's at the outside of your wheels, I feel like you should be able to tell.
There's almost, if it's not placebo, it almost feels like when you get ready to pump to go up a lip, you feel like there's this little light cushion underneath of you, and right as you pop off, it just kind of, I don't know, it just feels like it lifts you up a little bit. It's a very interesting feeling. I don't know how to describe it, but this is like the first few runs of the day and I'm already jumping like I'm perfectly warmed up and ready to rip. So it feels like you're getting that hype and everything's good.
Maddie's sold.
I'm kind of sold.
Easy man to sell to.
Parker has his doubts of this.
I don't know if I want to believe it yet. The bar does feel like it kind of like comes a little faster.
That's what
Yeah, it just feels like a little lighter, like my bike overall. Go, go, go! Oh! Ah, come on!
Tubolito! Oh! Rotsy, come here. Come on.
Ah, shit. Yeah.
Oh! Like 180, a little foof, and then land, disaster, and then revert in.
I have no idea.
I mean, just break shit, you know what I mean? Hey, hey, hey. Oh, well.
I should have let Branson keep walking under you.
No, that would have been amazing. Squirrel. Squirrel.
Like, nope.
Yeah. Squirrel.
I saw.
I don't know how squirrels sound.
There we go.
Yeah.
Oh my god, we're gonna need more people. Just pinch myself. That's such a gamble with that thing. Thanks, dog.
We didn't end up learning triple whips, but we did feel ultra light, and that's what matters.
Are you filming right now?
Yeah.
We're just going over like breakdown?
Yeah, just what
I mean, dude, I felt it right away. Honestly, I felt it right away. The tire, even squeezing it, felt a little different, but riding, I noticed just feels like you have more lift off. This feels a little, I don't know, definitely lighter. As of now, we've been riding for a couple hours, so it kind of feels a little better. I can't even really tell it's there, and that's the best part, is once you warm up and you can't tell it's there.
Yeah.
I'm sold, I'm into it.
Bar spins definitely felt way like snappier when I was doing it, but I'm curious to ride street with it and take some like hits to it and see like how that feels like bunny hopping too.
Yeah.
Do you lower your PSI for?
Yeah, that's another thing too. When I ride street, I lower it by like at least 25 PSI.
Let's follow back up in a week, see if they survived.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so I think that's
That's one thing I'm curious to try out.
Yeah, so let's see if they survive, and then we'll finish this video.
Yeah. Solid effort.
There's a dude on roller skates with a 360 camera on the end of a golf club.
Light up roller skates.
Yeah, Parker. Hi, dude.
What?
Yo! Wow. Yeah, Parker. Woo! Yeah, Parker.
More?
He's got all the trickies, all the trickies.
I was like excited to test it out, like riding street and stuff. And over the last week, I like pretty much rode only street and like tried to like just see how they would last on like drops or like landing sideways on grinds or like just doing anything. And they held up really good. I didn't really feel a difference like bunny hopping, like it was like lighter to bunny hop or anything like that. But they held up good. I thought like impact or something like that might mess them up, but they're fine. I like them. Definitely feel it in the bar spin. It sounds crazy, but I could feel it move way faster and way more effortless, which is always good because bar spins are sweet.
Cool.
So,
What about you, Maddie?
Oh, what's that?
I'm not gonna change them out, but if they do go out and like I put normal tubes back in, I'm curious to see if like a couple tricks or like how like jumping feels.
Yeah.
I really do think it felt like a little lighter, honestly.
Yeah, I did.
Like bar spins and like a couple tricks. Bunny hopping, not really. It was fun.
I think it's worth it. I haven't popped one yet, so there's that. I think If I were to be popping a bunch of them, that would be a different story. If it felt dramatically different, that'd be a different story. At the very beginning, it felt a little strange, but only felt strange because it was something new. Now it feels pretty common. I'm used to it. I didn't even know I had different tubes until the camera came on when we started talking about it.
Cool.
Yeah.
I seriously thought they were gonna blow up. Like, I was like, yeah.
Like, you mean
like jumping off of stuff and like,
as in destroyed?
like,
Yeah.
well, I've seen them at like contests and stuff before.
Yes.
People like land sideways and a big orange tube like flies out of their wheel. And I was like, well, that's not good. But they really didn't. I get sketchy and it was fine. If it won't, like if it's super light and it makes your bike spin faster or jump higher and it's resistant against puncture,
it's more resistant.
Yeah.
That's what. That's what it turned out to be.
Yeah,
That's
really.
crazy.
Yeah.
If I tank it, I'm on this side of my structure, so I have to make it.
Yeah.
I think you need to lift up.
That was cool. I'll take that one.
Yeah, that was sick.
Super slow.
Here.